Um, so, uh, I I'm very excited to be here today. I feel like it's going to be another light episode, even though we're going to talk about a couple heavy things. Um, and it will be a quickie dicky, as they say, with a lot of packing the punch. Okay. Um, Also, if you're a person out there who's like, I like to run my mouth, I like to talk about things, I like to deconstruct my life, I like to heal from church hurt, I like to tell people what I learned this week. That's oftentimes in the clubhouse rooms. Y'all can stop by 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. most days of the week. And you can join the WhatsApp chat to get all of that information. But if you're a person that wants to do it even more publicly than the clubhouse room, please feel free to drop either Dr. Flo or I a line, and we are happy to get you on Deconstruction Junction or another part of the podcast that will serve you, that you feel like you want to join us, where it says your name here, question mark. That's where you'll be with your emoji. Nope, it's not called an
Yes,
emoji. It's called a bit emoji.
yes. And did my microphone clear a bit?
Your microphone did clear. Yes, you sound great. Thank you.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So yeah, like she said, if you all would like to participate in the program, you're more than welcome to join us anytime by sending a message to either her at Terra Parlo Studio, or you can send over one to me at Ask Dr. Flo on all platforms. Instagram would be amazing. And just let me know in the comment section or somewhere that you have messaged me, and we would love to have you on board. Once again, I'm Dr. Flo, not telling you what I heard, but what I know. What I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable. You're always going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your life. And every day online, I coach and mentor people who want to be bold in their gifts and use their time on the earth, their talent, and their treasure for good. And part of our contributing good into the world is Deconstruction Junction as a podcast. So thank you over on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and beyond. And those of you who are checking out our YouTube shorts, thank you so much for your love and appreciation as we continue to lift the spirit of love on the earth in these times. You know who isn't lifting the spirit of love on earth in these times?
Ice. There's also multiple kinds of ice in Minnesota, but we're talking about the jackasses that are humanoid and getting bonuses to kidnap people and traffic people. So if you click to the next slide, you will see, and click on the link, you will see some resistance from our beloved high schoolers here in Minnesota. Yeah. Yeah. So, one thing that you should know is that our governor, Mr. Timothy Waltz, I don't know how to say his name. Okay. Also, just this is Minnesota politics. Pause really quick. Minnesota politics. Mike, the my pillow dude, sit down. No one wants you as governor. We want you even less than we want Timmy. Okay, just sit down. Sit down, sir. But anyway,
The pillow guy, a
the
resident of your state?
yes, yes, yes. Unfortunately, he is from the Minnesota. It's really quite a tame. Um, so anyway, Timothy, as you may know, was the VP candidate of Kamala, and he kind of ruffled Trumpykin's feathers. Okay, and then there was some federal audit of something here in Minnesota, where it was found that some Somali people had committed fraud. And that was the point where Trumpykin said, let me send federal agents to Minnesota. Now, don't get me wrong, they have been here, but now they are also targeting Somali people and Hispanic and Latino people. Basically, anyone who has brown skin, as y'all know. These high schoolers, these young people,
The identifiable threat.
right? These young people in Minnesota, they've been through the George Floyd uprisings not so long ago, and I don't like to put too much on the young people, because I think it's irresponsible for us as people that actually have voting privileges and actually have more power than children in the system. That we're always like the children are the future, and that is true, but also they shouldn't be carrying the load. And I'm always impressed by our young people here who choose to protest and choose to say, get the hell out of here. And it with much consistency. There's actually an account. I can't remember the handle, but it is a youth resistance account specifically to Minnesota that was built around the time of the George Floyd uprisings. So that is my update on ICE in Minnesota. They have been seen. This is Burnsville. That's southern. Piper, don't. That's southern suburbs. Hang on. Mommy's going to take some out, okay? But they've also been seen up here. I'm in the northern suburbs. I'm in Crystal. And so just be aware, be alert. There's an account on Instagram. I think it's called Minnesota Ice Watch, MN Ice Watch. And you can submit when you see ice. You just film them and submit the video to that account, and they will get the word out of where ICE is on any given day. Our Governor Timmy Waltz did put out, this was a while ago, but put out instruction that the cops here are not state troopers, city policemen are not to aid federal human traffickers, for lack of a better term. Right. So our police are not helping the federal government.
I appreciate that the children are standing up for what's right. Adults sometimes have an issue with that because they're in golden handcuffs and they feel like they have so much to lose socially and professionally.
Right.
So they
you lose
kind of
wages and you can't put dinner on the table, Yeah.
And a lot of their bosses are aligned with the oppressive regime.
Mm-hmm.
For them to stick their necks out and go in the opposite direction when the boss may not like it because the boss is aligned with power and evil, the kids have to do it because at this point in their lives, they don't have much, quote unquote, to lose. You and I speak out boldly because we work for ourselves.
Right.
You know, and if we lose a client or a customer due to backwards, evil, political, and moral character, we'll go get people who want to be liberated to continue to work with us.
Agreed. Yeah. If you can't, you don't have to align particularly with my exact brand of politics or my exact brand of morality, because we are a bring your own belief organization, but we do not stand for any kind of harm. And so if you are out to do harm, you're not welcome in our communities or in our clientele.
Or harmful in your religious stance.
Yes.
Even though God is love, allegedly.
Right. If God exists.
What if God was one of us?
What if God was one of us?
Would he be chased down the street by ICE?
Probably. I saw this video on TikTok the other day. It was like a white mom, white family, and she was showing the books that she reads her boys. And she's Christian, and she said, I only buy children's books that have brown or black Jesus representation in them when I'm buying Christian books. And I was like, oh wow, there's a white Christian that knows that Jesus was not white. I was very surprised, honestly, because a lot of y'all you really don't believe that that man was not melanated. He was very melanated.
The reason why we do this podcast every week is to question our thoughts and to question our beliefs and to question what we're seeing. And it's really alarming still in 2025 that there's a lot of people who don't question what they see.
Right. Agreed.
Essentially, internalize it. This is what I was taught. This is what I believe. Don't ask me to change it. It could shake the very foundation of everything I stand on. And I don't have time for that because I'm tired from working my 7 jobs, which is also
right.
engineered.
That all $2 an hour, and your rent is $2,000. You know, crazy.
It's wild out here. One of the ways that I'm making music these days and one of the ways that I'm making money these days is using AI technology. And we've had a lot of conversation this week in the network about people who are pro AI and people who are anti AI. I mentioned earlier in the week, it feels like coming out all over again. 20 years ago, I told people that I was same gender loving, pansexual, bisexual, loving of all humans. And there were many who rejected me for that. And coming out as a human led AI music producer this week has had similar feelings to it. And I don't want to rehash everything we talked about this week, but where do you think we're ultimately going to land as it relates to using the tools to assist us to create in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, I think it's what I've said time and time again, which is that AI is here. Like, no matter how much you scream and pout and shame your fellow artists and fellow people and holler to the top of your lungs and say that you hate being so upset every day about AI, it's here. Like, like the you screaming is not going to remove it. And in fact, we have accompaniment. And in fact, I should have put quiet mode on the piano. It's not likely to go anywhere.
I actually like when Piper gives
Piper's
us
like,
a little.
It's pretty good. Like that was like kind of scary music. You know, it's not like happy.
That's
positive.
closer to middle C. That's closer to middle C.
Yeah, we got it. We got it. Good job, baby. So yeah, I really I do still think there will be this divide of people who don't use it at all. There'll be people that are in the middle, and there'll be people that are like on the leading edge of the tech in the same way that it's always been. I was listening today to on the way home. I went to pick up my kiddo. Those of you out there in public, I went to pick up my kiddo. And as I was driving home, I turned on the Christmas station. And Mannheim Steamroller, okay, oh, what song is it? Carol of the Bells, right? The Mannheim Steamroller, Carol of the Bells. There is a moment in there where there is a synthesized voice, right? And I'm sure that 20 years ago, 30 years ago, whenever that was made, right? Because I've been listening to it most of my life because I'm from Omaha and so is Mannheim Steamroller. I'm sure y'all didn't know that, but now you do. Anyway, like, I'm sure that there were people back then that were like, oh my God, that's ruining music.
The purist, right?
Right. And now we listen to it. You know, like now it's on your radio. Auto tune. There were a whole bunch of people when rappers started using auto tune that it was like, oh my God, this is the worst thing for music. And y'all even said it about rap, the style, right? That rap is not music. Y'all said that for a long time, up until
That's what they said.
Hamilton came out. Hamilton came out, and then y'all were like, rap is so cool. Like, so I don't, and I've said this all week. I don't think there's a problem to not use AI. I don't think there's a problem to use AI. I don't think there's a problem to be in the middle. Where I find it to be a problem is when we are attacking and toxically shaming each other for our choices of the tools that we use. You do not have to use AI, just like you do not have to get an abortion. You do not have to get piercings. You do not have to get tattoos. You don't have to buy the bananas at the grocery store. Literally, no one cares, right? Literally, no one cares. Do you? But don't turn around and toxically shame, right? This is the same reason that I always hate on vegans, even though we love one that's very close to us, right? Like,
I live with a vegan.
right, but like vegans oftentimes, not Poppy, but vegans oftentimes are like, why you're killing the planet, da la 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 la, by eating this other stuff and la la la, and it's like, it's my body. I'm gonna poop it out.
My
So why
body, my choice.
right. And if you are, which a lot of these anti-AI people are often liberals and leftists, which also aligns them with the pro-choice. And so if you are pro-choice, y'all got to figure out how to be pro-choice about everything. Right? Like you cannot pick and choose. Because either we're on the slippery slope of pro-choice or we're on the slippery slope of pro-life. Like that is the way that works. And you're not going to cherry pick like y'all did the Bible. We're not going to do that, right? We're not going to say that one kind of AI is okay and another kind of AI is not okay because it's quote unquote more damaging to the environment, when the usage of AI is not the thing that is causing these tech bros to build these buildings in economically damaging environments, right? That it's not the AI use. It's the tech bros being tech broy, right?
It's a
And so,
gatekeeping.
yeah,
They could easily do a offset program where if they are building these data centers in an impoverished area, they could build a housing development adjacent
right, right,
and give everybody who lives there, who they displaced, free rent for 5 years, 10
right.
years. They can afford it. We as a society can afford it. Just say
Careful.
that you want to be evil. But y'all can't blame me as a music producer who loves the tools. Like the music that's coming out, I wrote
Piper.
the first of many arias for Tara today. I've never written operatic music. I've never arranged it. I've never put it out into the world. I cannot wait to hear Tara's voice and the voices of many opera singers on this new age sound that's created around the loved and lovable message. And we did that this morning. And I would not have been able to do that unless I leaned into trying new things with new technologies. So I'm here for it. I love the pro choice element that you introduced into the equation. I had never thought about the fact that people who really believe in liberation and believe in the live and let live mentality should stand back and just let us have our fun. In the last month, it's really been probably 3 weeks. In the last 3 weeks that I've been creating music on these platforms and starting to release the music, I've had so much fun expressing myself and putting my words and my feelings into the artistic flow again. It really has reinvigorated my whole ikigai, my reason for being and my reason for going on is in part due to the creation of this music using these tools. And if you need some assistance in learning how to do it for yourself and to create these one of a kind masterpieces, kind of like the sand art we used to make as kids.
And then it
Uh,
erased because we didn't have phone cameras back then. So it's just in our noggins. right? Our light
Yeah,
bright.
these people are not carrying around Polaroid cameras saying, I refuse to take pictures on my smartphone. They're using their smartphones to take the
Right.
pictures.
Right. And I think, and that's the argument that I used essentially in my stories. And I got decent feedback from it. Like I had a couple people say this is a really refreshing take on AI because it is the live and let live. It is the like I am pro choice for me and I am pro choice for you. I shouldn't feel pressured to use it and I shouldn't feel pressured not to use it because it's not it is here. And that is like the inability, and I'm speaking on a larger topic here, like the inability to acknowledge what is one of the largest problems in the fight for liberation, right? Because like, and I'm going to use this example as we together on this podcast for the past 2.5 years and beyond have really discussed capitalism and trying to be anti-capitalist and trying not to charge, right? And trying to not have money. But at the end of the day, capitalism is what exists. There is no way the two of us in this room, will rid the system of capitalism by ourselves. We cannot do that. We can't do it. It is not possible. We can talk about it and we can raise our concerns about the ills of capitalism, but in the same way as that, people are making the people using AI responsible for all the damage AI is doing. And that is not true. You driving your car 5 miles down the street is not doing the economic or the ecological damage, the climate damage that they like to propagandize and fearmonger you into believing that it is, right? And you see this in every stage. And like I said in my stories this morning, which I was yelling about, how Instagram really loves to not allow my stories to go up, right? And I'm talking like not stories from other platforms or not my personal like typed stories. I'm talking like sharing other people's reels from their platform to my stories. It does not like me to do that. The mic is dead or you're not off mute.
Especially those of a politically radical perspective. Like
Right.
if she were sharing her soup dinner and apparently she has an amazing taco soup recipe,
I do.
that would go up. But once it detects that something to liberate the masses and to liberate the minds of the masses is coming, she can't even
Right.
get it out.
And that was my problem yesterday, right? It wouldn't let me upload Winterludes to either my feed or my stories. I had to put it up via OneUp app. I could not get it up any other way to Instagram. And then I tried to share it from Instagram, my feed, to my stories. It took away my add to story button from that reel and that reel only. All because I had shared, I unequivocally believe, blah, 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 right? That in no particular order, da, 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 Black Lives Matter, da, 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 on the same day, right? And what I said in my stories was like, I will call it out every time. I will talk about it every single time that Instagram does this to me because it does it to me at least once a week. At least once a week, if not every day. Like this week, it has been almost every day. And I call it out because we have to stop being scared to talk about this stuff. Like a large part of the AI conversation is because people aren't actually talking to each other, right? People are siloed in these anti-AI bubbles or pro-AI bubbles, and they're not hearing each other. And when they do come together, it's just clashing and toxic shame, right? And that, who does that serve? This is what I keep asking about silence and our infighting, right? Who does it serve for us to fight each other? Hey, don't do that. That's ouchy. Who does it serve for us to fight each other, and who does it serve for us to stay silent? Because I'm pretty sure it's not us, right?
Majority.
Right. Right.
Y'all go to the website lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. One of the top 2 links is the demos for the new music. They have been recorded by studio session singers that we do not know using the automated tools, but very soon we're going to be bringing them to life with real people. And we always wanted the whiteboard effect to show using tools like Suno and Sora, what the future could look like for us. This also reminds me that this weekend on Saturday, we're going to be doing our end of the year Dr. Flo family reunion. It's a visioning theme. We're going to be bringing our vision boards for 2026 and also talking about our brag books of 2025 and what we accomplished this year that we're proud of. You're more than welcome to come. All are welcomed. No one will be turned away for lack of funds. But the AI, in a lot of ways, are showing us what the future could hold for us if we put a little elbow grease into what we're doing. And I'm very excited about it. And as a person who is not an opera singer, who wrote an opera song, an art song this morning for Tara to sing based on the loved and lovable
I have
theme.
to save you from the classical people that will come for you if you say opera song. You wrote an art song, which you corrected yourself, but the opera people will come for you.
The opera people are scared of themselves and each other. They'll be fine. The enemy is banging from inside of the house. It's crazy.
Agreed. Well, I'll introduce it since it's my this happened this week, y'all. Some of y'all on the internet tried to cancel Dolly Parton because she said she had racist relatives and learned not to use racist language from those relatives who were being racist. Right? So she stopped using that language. Now, if we go to the next slide, this is what
Which before we go to the next slide, like people really get a kick out of being racist and rude, and they really
right.
want to do it like badly. Like they really badly want to see people's feelings be hurt based on their skin tone. It's a mental illness, truly.
Well, and
Truly is a mental illness.
based on any difference, right? Like that like yes, we're talking about racism here, but like and we've talked about this all week too, that like people just want to be angry. People just want to be angry. And that is like so mind-boggling to me. Like, and I just like, does it feel good to you to be angry all the time? Does it feel good for you to go out on the internet and toxically shame people for whatever you're toxically shaming people about? Like, does it actually make you feel better to type mean comments on other people's feeds? Like, I don't think so. That was a very loud door. Here is the that's your belly. That's your belly. Here is the thread that I agree with. It says, let's not forget that racists were in an uproar when she said this, and Dolly has donated to Black universities and causes for years. I need everyone out in the sun 30 minutes a day. Like, for real, y'all. Like, this woman, this 80-year-old white woman, and some of y'all literally were like, and it like she is a racist. She's white. She's white. And Black people have anti-Black tendencies, okay? Because we all live in the same culture. We've talked about this before. So like for y'all to pretend that like Dolly Parton is this horrible person because sorry y'all, I'm making sure my child's face does not arrive on this screen right now. That like of course she has worked through racism. And she's not done because as y'all love to preach at white people, the anti-racism journey is never over, right? There, like people are always going to find one more thing that you haven't worked through, and then they're going to be angry about that, right? Like this is the thing. This is the thing. Like white people are never going to pass, and I'm not saying that they should, but white people are never going to get a pass in the racism department because y'all are always doing something racist, right? No matter how hard you've worked, no matter
And
how
upholding it as a collective. Upholding it as a collective.
Right. And there's certainly spicy whites, which I would consider Dolly Parton to be a spicy white, who have tried to utilize their money and their fame and their power to disrupt the system, right? And I think that like it is okay, y'all, for Dolly Parton to not have solved the racism within her Southern white family. That is a crazy expectation of people. That's crazy. It's crazy.
What just occurred to me is it's a collective cultural embarrassment that they're actually pointing to. If Dolly with millions can acknowledge the racist in her family, Why do you, with $12.72 in your bank account, refuse to do so?
Right. Right.
And we know from our experiences professionally and personally, it's
Cracker.
for that particular segment of individuals assigned white at birth, it's okay to be racist. It's not okay to name it and to talk about it out loud,
Right.
because that's where the dismantling truly starts. And so as we've been talking today, I'm like, "Oh, they're not mad that racism exists. They're mad that Dolly named it and brought it out on the carpet."
Yeah. Certainly the white folks. The black folks that try to cancel her. That's like literally my face. Like, please go out in the sun for 30 minutes a day. Please. Please.
Find someone to be mad at that actually deserves it.
Right.
Like, there's a list of people who come to mind that actually, like Clarence Thomas, for one.
Right. Right. Like Brett Kavanaugh, Donald Trump.
Like, there's a list of people who are actually trying to harm you. There are
Oprah.
people, right. There are people online who are like, "You can never make me hate Dolly because Dolly gave my children books to read."
Right. Right. Taylor Swift is another great one. If y'all want a white woman in music to go hate on, in country music even, please have at the Swifties. Okay.
Allow for our submission, Taylor.
Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift and her private jet getting married to Travis Kelce using a song that she wrote that has racist dog whistles in it. But y'all want to come for Dolly Parton. Make it make sense.
Who said, "Of course, our white asses aren't the only ones that matter. Of course, Black lives matter."
Right.
Duh.
Duh.
Which leads me to rising above. I'm realizing in my life that every year, every month, and every week, I'm having to rise above some level of negativity, lower vibration kind of energy, naysayer on the internet, unsupportive opinion. And I just wanted to take this time in the podcast to let you all know it's okay to rise above. It's okay to ignore. It's okay to focus on your focus and to just let everything else fall. And if you're out there listening today on the podcast or watching over the YouTube and Facebook and you need permission to let those people go or let that situation go or let that fear go, this is your sign. This is your sign from the universe that it's okay to rise above. A lot of people will continue to play in the middle or play lukewarm with their energy or with their opinions, because having a bold opinion like those students we talked about in Minnesota earlier as it relates to ICE, or having a bold opinion about all lives mattering, or saying things like ceasefire now, it's going to separate you from the herd. And I know that can be really, really scary to try new things and to put your neck out. But it's okay to rise above, because don't you want all of the joy out of your life? Don't you want all the love out your life? Don't you want peace? Sometimes rising above is just ignoring emotionally violent and chaotic people. And I was reading a book, well, listening to a book, reading while listening to a book about emotionally immature parents who raised us. Emotionally immature parents don't want you to surpass them. They don't want you to rise above them. They'll have feelings like jealousy and envy because you're able to have friends. It's okay to rise above your circumstance. It's okay to rise above your environment. A lot of my self-hatred and self-doubt over the last year was because I didn't want to be perceived as better than my friends or better than my people in any way, because they make it difficult to love yourself in the society. Loving yourself is rising above. You will become the target of people who are wounded and in pain. You will be wounded by those people yourself. But as Rumi said, the wounds are the place where the light enters you. So continue to let that light in, even if you have been wounded, even if you are in pain. It's going to be worth it in your freedom song. Weeping may endure for a night. Harmful people may have to be endured for the day. You may feel lonely in your rising for a moment, but joy is coming in the morning. It never stays dark forever. It never stays night forever. The sun does rise again and again and again. Where have you seen this be illustrated in your life, Tara? Where has rising above caused you a bit of like, ah, but it was worth
Well,
it?
I think just the general non-conformance that I have to the way in which things have always been done in classical music. Like I get a lot of flack for the shit that I do, right? I've been punished via academia. I've been punished via, like not getting roles and people just being generally scared of me. Um, and not wanting to associate with me as someone who calls out and calls in, and says that, I say the things like, you're being transphobic, you're being racist, I don't want to work with you, I don't want to do that show, I don't want to do these things. And people have a hard time staying in it. But it is 100% worth it to stay in my integrity and to stay in my morality, right? And that's what I've always striven for, is to stay in my integrity at all times. Like if I'm getting pulled out of my integrity to try and people please and try to be nice all the time because that's what y'all deem instead of telling y'all the truth, you know, I'd rather be me. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Let's talk about the Baby Chance update.
Yeah. Now let's just go to the thread because I think the thread summarizes it a little bit better. Mayhaps. Okay, so this is from last week, December 2nd, 2025. I saw a video on this as well, around the same time, but it says, does everyone remember Adriana Smith, the 9 weeks pregnant, brain dead woman kept alive for months because of Georgia's heartbeat law? The baby's name is Chance, and he has been in the NICU for 6 months with no signs of leaving anytime soon. Her family is now on the hook for millions of dollars in medical bills between Adriana and baby Chance. If you are in Georgia, call every congressperson, pregnancy resource center, and pro-birth church and organizations as they are on the hook for these bills. And I just think I brought this because I feel like Adriana and baby Chance very quickly left the news, right? And if baby Chance was a success story, he would be all up in the news, right? But this baby was born from a decaying body of a young woman who was forcibly kept alive, right? And now baby Chance, if he ever makes it out of the NICU, if he lives, right, is going to be faced with a life of hardship, all because of an experiment some rich white people wanted to play, right? Yeah, that's yellow. That's a yellow duck. Purple tricycle. Apparently, Piper was like,
Control. All in the name of control.
Right.
And coercion.
Right. And I think the thing that kind of gets me the most about Adriana is that they could have helped her. Like so many Black women and so many women in general, she went in to the hospital and said something was wrong. And they sent her home. And by the time she came back, it was too late to do anything, and she ended up brain dead. And that is the reality for so many Black women in this country, pregnant or not. Right. And so I just.
We're pausing for puppies. It is quite sad that she asked for help, and it was the discretion of people who were charged to caretake her to go in a completely different direction. And that's the reason why she didn't make it. And now this child, who I'm reading, is facing underdeveloped lungs, trying to be transferred to a specialized hospital. You mentioned earlier about the debt that then puts this family generationally in the hole. It may take them multiple generations, unless there's generosity of some stranger, to get out of what I categorize as preventable bullshit. It's wild out here. I wish that we in our society had a better relationship to belonging to ourselves and to each other. I would like to think from the last slide to think that if the hospital workers felt like she was family to them, if they felt like she was part of the community, and they would be proud to have her live, if there was an ownership of the human to human connection, that perhaps she would still be here and that her son would be in better conditions. And I wanted to talk a little bit today about what it means to belong. We talk about this a lot here. We have people who belong to Love and Action Network. We have people who belong in the Academy, Unfuckwithable Mastermind. We have a lot of programs that people belong to around here. And I think that feeling as if you have a place and that you have stake in a community is important to living a happy life. I know where I belong, so I'm not fumbling around trying to find love. I know exactly where to source love because love exists in the spaces where I belong and in the spaces where I've surrendered to that belonging. So I think that a lot of people have places where they could belong, but because they are the black sheep, and shout out to the Black Sheep Brigade, or because they are lone wolves, the loners and the stoners. I don't want any friends. I don't need any friends. People have mistreated me and betrayed me, so now I just stick to myself. That's cute until it's not. And we're tribal people.
Yeah.
And we're community driven. And when your community is off, it ripples in a lot of ways. And I would love to see the studies on how belonging in community and the feelings of belonging in community directly translate into the socioeconomics of it all. There's got to be a correlation.
Yeah. I mean, I am solid. There's a reason why certain groups of people believe that they can make the money or be successful, and everybody believes them. And then there's other segments of people and communities where it is not believed that they will ever get out of the cycle, right, of poverty that has been placed upon them, or will never succeed at XYZ, or will never do the things that they say they want to do. So I'm sure it's very correlated to, and you used to say this a lot, like the 5 people that you're closest with is the person you become, right? And not to like pressurize the whole thing, but it's really true. Like we I mean, as Love and Action Network and all of the chats that came before it, like this is the first time that it's been a really super positive, gratitude, love, joy, peace based situation. And people are growing, right? Because there's a belonging. Whereas before, in previous iterations of this, which had that same goal, there were lots of people present who did not have that same agreement in mind. And we can always go after those agreements in different ways, right? Not to bring up our favorite quote, but like, we're not a cult. People can think their own way, right? People can think their own way, but we are all still moving towards wholeness, towards growth, towards joy, towards peace, and towards love, right? And I know that,
Amen. Amen.
like, as a person that has, and I've said this before, but when I left the community for very important reasons, like now I think that was like 2.5 years ago or so. Um, I One of the things that, like, not only was it the way when Flo came and got me, not only was it the way that he like had changed and he had grown, but it I was so alone. I didn't have anywhere to belong in the 10 months of separation. And that was the hardest part of it all, right? Because as we talked about earlier, like a lot of the things that I speak out about, a lot of the things that I do, and even like my actual career ostracized me from regular community, right? It's very hard to meet people when everybody in your career community is fighting each other for the jobs, right? That's a very real thing in the music industry, especially when you get to the highest levels, right? It's a very real thing that people are very much competing for jobs.
It's like the
And if,
Hunger Games.
right, and if they are competing for your job or the job that you think you deserve, as a soprano, and there's 30,000 sopranos and there's one role, you know? And so I was just really alone. And so I feel like I can really speak to like how much belonging means to me. And I will say that sometimes I feel like that's almost a detriment to me of like I stay in certain communities, not this community y'all, but stay in certain relationships in certain communities simply because it feels like belonging. Right? Like, and that can be kind of the backside of it all. But I will also say that like my human design works in community best. There's a part of my human design that like just naturally creates community and is naturally a part of community and obviously feels very ostracized and alone without that sense of belonging. So,
Listen, as a person who grew up queer, assigned black at birth, and weirdly religious, I know what it's like to be pushed to the edges. It's not fun, and that's why we've dedicated our collective work here and our individual work to making sure that people have a space where they can feel seen, heard, validated.
right.
We don't co-sign the bullshit, but we will let you speak your piece.
Thank you.
We will hear your roses, your thorns, your needs, your seeds. We'll do our best to find the resources to make sure that you are thriving or moving towards thriving and that you can have a place to land in the world. It's very, very important. Affirmational spaces, uplifting encounters, inspirational environments. So, if you're looking for a place to belong and a place to prop your feet up and grow and connect and thrive, consider Love and Action Network and reaching out to us through our DMs. Tara's at Tara Praolo Studio on all platforms, and I'm Ask Dr. Flo on all platforms. And the barrier of entry into our community is pretty low. We do ask that you are honest in all of the ways that one could be honest, that you are open in all of the ways that one could be open, and that you are willing and available. We're all very busy. I'm building a $2.5 million love revival project. Tara is actively blackening the canon and creating opportunities for people of all backgrounds to be seen in classical music, and they are a cantankerous crowd. But we're going in boldly with all of our ancestors. And shout out to my grandma Agnes, who is laid to rest this week, who always made me feel like I belong. No matter how my family were treating each other, no matter how my family was treating me, I belonged to my grandma, and she belonged to me. And now she belongs to the universe, which reminds me that I belong to the universe. And I'm one of these people who believes that love is never destroyed. And so even though they are putting my grandma in the ground this week, the love that she shared and the smiles that she shared with us never, ever evaporate. And I'm very grateful for that today. I find my grandmother's love in Tara and Poppy and Nisi and Dolly and everybody who comes through the network. Very beautiful thing. Do you want to talk today about ceasefire now and what it means to you, especially in this week?
Yes, I have a rather long thread next. All right. It says, I've been thinking a lot after coming across a really insightful post recently about how Palestine has become a red line for so many re-voting. But the genocide of Black and Indigenous Americans has never been a red line. And I think part of the explanation lies in how the slow Palestinian genocide prior to October 7th was accepted/unknown for many of us. The truth that I think a lot of us need to grapple with is we have been programmed to accept violence and death for certain groups of people. It doesn't say groups of people, it says certain groups as just a matter of course, or to not see it. I hope for others who were more awakened after October 7th, like myself, this can be an opportunity to be awakened to so much more and to understand that we have always been navigating in a genocidal system. I'm going to read that last part one more time. I hope for others who were more awakened after October 7th, like myself, this can be an opportunity to be awakened to so much more and to understand that we have always been navigating in a genocidal system.
You think people don't want to own it, perhaps because it makes them feel badly?
I think that's a part of it, but I also think that people just don't want to see it. I think people, I find this with like people will be like, we were just talking about this in terms of true crime. I was telling Flo that one of the episodes of the true crime podcast that I listened to was like not that bad. And then I said, there are some episodes where I just like literally can't believe that people do that to each other. And I think that is truly like good people, which I believe is the majority of people. Right. And I believe that even the worst of us are mostly good. Right. Like they're basically good. They're people that were corrupted by a
That's what the
system
Buddha said.
that is built to harm them, right? And it's harming all of us. Like let's be very clear that it's harming all of us. No matter how much money you have, no matter what color you are, no matter what religion you are, no matter what sexuality you are, it's harming all of us, right? And I think that it's very, especially on a mass scale, it's very hard to comprehend as a basically good person that anyone could imagine such horrible things, right? Or implements such horrible things because it's not something that you would implement, right? It's not even somewhere that your brain goes, right?
My brain goes there. I just know it's not good for me or anybody else, and I don't want to be in a pick up the soap kind of situation. So I just don't lean into it.
Yeah. I
Orange is
mean,
the new black, but I don't want to
yeah,
wear it.
yeah. I think it's very, and then again, like on a mass scale, I think the thing is like, we really have no, remember, my child, um, daddy just got home. And so baby is very happy. We haven't seen daddy for 6 days. So we're very excited. Um, I think we watched a video not too long ago about grains of rice and how many like grains of rice equal a billion, right? And million, and like how hard that is to conceptualize, right? How hard a billion seconds is to conceptualize, how hard $1 billion is to conceptualize. And I think even like when we talk about COVID, like the mass scale of death is something that's virtually impossible for the human brain, which maybe meets 100 people a day, most people less, to comprehend, right? Because even in most people's lifetimes, they're not meeting 70, 80, hundreds of thousands of people. And so they cannot conceptualize of mass genocides, right? When we talk about the Holocaust and we talk about what was happening in Russia before that during Stalin's regime, and we're talking about 6 million people in Germany and 20 million people in Russia, I don't think people really have a concept of just how many people that is, because our brains don't function that way,
I'm
right?
reading right here that between 19.1 and 36 million people went in the pandemic. And I think that there are people on the planet, some of them in my family, call it a plandemic or say that it was a hoax because they don't want to deal with the fact that we all can go again to something like that. It's wild.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think it's a conceptualization thing rather than a like, oh, I don't want to acknowledge this, or I don't want to do that, or I don't like, I just think it's like a thing to try to make our brains feel good. That was like the whole reason that the pantheon was created. That's the whole reason mythology was created. That's the whole reason that God was created, right? Is to make our
Amen.
brains, it's to massage our brains into feeling okay, is to give a definition to things that are unexplainable. And so like, again, I don't think that it's necessarily like malicious in its intent that people tend to look away from massive genocides and massive death, because it is just virtually impossible for our brains to literally conceptualize what's happening. And that feels hard to conceptualize millions upon millions upon millions of deaths at
A
the
lot of
hands.
us would need to continue therapy in order to actually let it sink in and then turn it into something that's useful, informative, and generative to move things forward. There's a
Right.
lot of steps between understanding that, coming to terms with it, and then allowing it to facilitate the conditions to make the world a better place.
Right. Make it a better place. Yeah.
For you and for me and the entire human race. There's an accompaniment back there.
There was. You did well. You did well.
And ironically, in the key.
Yes.
Ironically, in the key. Wow. We have many programs in Love and Action Network. You're invited into all of them. No one's turned away due to lack of funds. The universe is taking care of Tara and I and our community, and we're taking care of each other. And so that allows for us to be in our abundance. That's all there is. And we're able to do the Adopt a Black Artist program. We're able to right now offer the daily peer support program and also allow space to support people at the administrative level and also through our support services through Love City Arts Creative Services Group. If you're out there and you got a dream that you want to lift, but it's becoming overwhelming to you and you're on the struggle bus, involuntarily, because some people want to voluntarily get on the struggle bus or the complaint bus every day and they don't want to get off. They just want to talk about, hey, Moose. They want to talk about what's not working well, what's not thriving, what's not. Is this real, Joyous?
What
Is
number, Joyous? I'm a 2-4, but I think one of mine is Hermit. Hold on. What numbers, Joyous, if you're still here? And y'all, it's very easy. Yeah, the 2 line is a Hermit. And the 4 line is the Opportunist. They call it like an easy breezy genius or something, my type. But anyway, you can find your human design just by typing human design into Google. It's very easy. You just need your birth date and your birth time, and it will spit out your information.
I'm a generator, but you all knew that already.
Yeah, but what's your numbers? Do you remember?
I am a 1/3, the establisher of knowledge and truth.
I don't think I remembered that you had 3. Did you know that the 3 is one of them that like the trying and failing is like a part of your design? Like you are so willing to just throw yourself into something and not really care about the outcome. That's a 3 thing. That's a 3 thing.
Boy, oh boy, could we do another hour of podcast talking about Dr. Flo's trying and failing and trying and failing. Some would say I'm failing right now, but I'm choosing to fail forward and to fail up and to love it.
Yeah.
As I
But
was
that, I mean,
telling
that's also
Tara
just
about
part
her.
of the design. Yeah. I'm also a generator. I am just my child is a 3/5, which now tracks heavily of why Piper feels the need to like stand up on things and fall. Um, that tracks. Yeah, I'm a 2/4, easy breezy genius. I don't know if Joyce is still here or not, but anyway, we'll find out from her at some point.
I'm a fan, and I would love to do a human design party because Dr. Flo loves to throw the parties. I would love to do a human design party where we sit around and talk about when we are in ourselves, when we're not in ourselves, our gifts. My most important gift is altruism. It's at times led me into a poverty-stricken life where my team is like, "You cannot give everything away, Dr. Flo," and I'm like, why not?
Mine is apparently innovation, which fully tracks with my personality.
It fully tracks also with where you're going professionally.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. And it's very interesting that I'm also a person that's like, oh my God, I want innovation online. Like I'm so bored online. And there it is.
Well, don't wait on Zuckerberg
Joy
to.
is a 6/2. Joyce is a 6/2.
What does that mean to us? Can you? That's
Well,
a hermit mentor. Is that what that is?
so the 2 is a hermit and the 6 is the mentor, which the 6 is really interesting because like it's split up between, and this is just y'all, I'm not like deep in this. I've just, one of my coaches is very into human design and her coach is into human design. So I get a lot of human design information from my other coach, Fiona Flight. But she's also not an expert. So anyway, the 6 line is like before you're 30 and after you're 30. And so before you're 30, you're essentially a 3 line. So you are trying and failing and trying and failing. And like it is a natural part of your design to fail. Like you just try the thing and you fail. Role model and then hermit. But that means that all of that stuff you did before you were 30, you then get to teach people after you're 30. Right. So like you have already gone through it. And so then you look back on your life as a 3, which you were again before you were 30, and you have all of this knowledge as you look back, and it's a responsibility to share it, the role model. Right. So anyway, that's that's probably not the greatest explanation that I've ever come
No, you did.
across.
You actually did. You actually did pretty great. The human design 6-2 profile, known as the role model hermit, signifies a three-stage life path, which you nailed. And it does have three phases: the trial and error phase from ages 0 to 30, the roof reflection stage from 30 to 50, a shift to observing life from a slight distance, processing experiences, and needing solitude to recharge. That's the hermit aspect, and integrating that wisdom. And then once you hit 50 plus, you step fully into leadership, walking your talk and sharing your embodied wisdom throughout the world. The role model line 6 leads by example, embodying authenticity and trustworthiness, here to show others how to live. And the hermit, and we know this about Joyous, unconsciously possesses natural specialist gifts that others seek out, but they need alone time to nourish and hone their talents. So, pretty good.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting about my particular one is the 2 4. So the 2 you just read, which is the hermit, but the 4 is the one that also has to be in community. So I have this need to be alone, but I also have a need to be in community, which does not always smash together. Well, anyway.
You got to tell me that. But we do a great job of smashing together in the network. And thank you, Joyous, for being here and sharing your human design. I did not know that you were a human design girly. It's one of the many tools that we use here. We love Enneagram. We love Myers Briggs. We love human design. These are just ways in which we can have a conversation about who we are and how we are emerging as loved and lovable humans. And I can't wait to get in a room with the two of you and others who may be into it and just talk about the integration of all of our parts, which of course is IFS, Integrated Family Systems, which is another tool that we use here in addition to Adrienne Mari Brown's Emergent Strategy. So we've got a lot of stuff in the toolkit here in the network, and hopefully it's moving us closer to our joy. I'm hiring for the Love Experience and the Love Revival. Today I wrote an opera song for Tara, and there's some hip hop songs now, and there's a disco jam, and we need people to sing it and to bring it to life. This is what the AI tells me I might look like in the very near future. Cool blazer, multicultural, multi-generational choir, bow tie, because why not, in a giant theater, lifting the loved and lovable message and songs throughout the world. This is how I use the AI to vision. Why couldn't I have that jacket? Why can't I have that crown? Why can't I teach that choir?
Why can't the person be, why can't you find a Jesus looking person like the people behind you with the crown? Because that guy looks like Jesus.
Which one?
Like the
Oh,
one
I
with
do see. I do
the,
see
yeah,
it.
the one with the beard.
You know, Jesus is always there. Always
Jesus is in the
there.
corner.
Always there. What's happening in your studio, Paolo?
I definitely didn't update this because I forgot that it was there. But I have the TPS Community Commons. You can come over there for liberation conversations as well as Blackening the Canon. I dropped something super cool in Blackening the Canon this morning about, I didn't know about this company, but apparently there is a Black owned piano company where they build the pianos. And anyway, one of the pianos is coming to Minneapolis, which I thought was really, really cool. So I shared that there. And then also on my public platforms, so Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Winterludes is happening. It is my 25-day of song slash anything winter series. So if you are a reader, if you are a singer, if you are an instrumentalist, you are welcome to come on over and I will give you some information. Just comment on one of the videos or send me a DM at Tara Priolo Studio and I'll get you in the works. I would love to have some other people while I have ceased apologizing for how many videos of me on my own page there are. There are still 13 days that I would love to have people. And my students, I have to edit their videos. So they're in the works. Dr. Flo is in the works. But we would love to have.
I should record a Christmas story or something without the singing so that we can break it up a bit.
Yeah, we need to talk to Loretta as well. But
Yeah,
yes,
there's
you
nothing
could
stopping
read,
me.
You could read The Grinch.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
That's not how it goes. I literally have the Grinch book right there. I was maybe going to read it tonight, but maybe I'll do Polar Express tonight.
Listen, anything to keep the spirit of joy and peace and love in Christmas afloat. I did not ruin Christmas for Tara this year so far.
So far.
And
he's still got 13 days. But I don't think, listen, y'all, the present that we collaborated on for Poppy is going to be great. And the present that several people have collaborated on for Dr. Flo is also going to be great. And so I'm not going to ruin his Christmas. And because he's going to be happy on Christmas, I'll be happy on Christmas.
This is why I put magnesium in my water, folks, because the people around me know that I'm not really a fan of surprises, but I acquiesce to them because I know it's done in the spirit of love and fun, and I don't want to be the old man on the corner lot that's telling all of the cool kids, "Get off my lawn, you meddling kids." So I lean into it, but already today I've been asked about shoe sizes and addresses, and it took my anxiety up a bit, but it is a blessing to give and receive in the universal flow. So I'm going to be chill this Christmas and embrace it all. Closing thoughts from
Merry
the Paolo
Chrysler.
home.
Merry Chrysler. Merry Christmas. Truly, though, y'all, the reason I love Christmas is because of all the love that happens at Christmas time. So, Merry Christmas, Merry Chrysler.
My closing thoughts is that laughter is a gift, and I'm sure I'll hear later about what is happening.
Ross was bouncing the baby up and down with their legs, and Piper just tooted 3 times.
My mom always said there's more room out than in, so I hope that baby has relief from having the farts shaken out of them in the middle of the podcast. On behalf of Terra Paolo Studio, Poppy Water 33 on our production team, and myself, Ask Dr. Flo, I hope that you all are laughing in your lives and having joy. It's totally, totally worth it. And as always, we invite you to stay in your power, to stay in your joy, and to stay loved and lovable. And we'll see you very, very soon around our fantabulous network. Special shout out to Joyous Windrider for coming through the pod today. You'll hear your shout out over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and beyond. We love you. We love you. We love you. And we hope that you have a wonderful weekend from our heart to yours. Toodles.